right, welcome to an extraordinarily special edition to the Final Percent podcast with two of my very favorite people, Ben and Natalia Harris. I'm telling you, these guys, it's interesting like having relationships for as long as we've had because we have seen each other grow at such a level where it's just like, hey, like you guys were basically the facilitators of Vegas, especially you, like making sure people had the experience. You're over here hyping people up for like Terry Fader and like you're like on the main stage, and now you guys are just crushing it in real estate. So one of my favorite things to ask, I asked this because I just wanted to get it right. What was the price of the last like most expensive house that you sold?
That'd be $16,250,000. Yeah, 16.25.
And just so you know, like there is commission on that. Like that's like for all my real estate agents out there, they just went shit. So help me understand the transition, just because I think a lot of people who listen to the podcast with AI, with just growing up, having a family, everyone's kind of in this transitory experience. How do you go from the nightlife of Vegas to putting people in $16 million homes? How does that transition happen?
Well, I mean, I feel like a lot of it is kind of a crossover. You know, in one industry, it was helping people, you know, have a great experience when, you know, visiting Vegas or, you know, hanging out in Vegas. And this is helping them have a great experience in their everyday life. And, you know, it's actually even more fun because it's, you know, it's what's more important than your home and, you know, where you are with your family. So it's kind of like giving them the top level of that, you know, it's the same way we gave them the top level experience when they would come hang out in Vegas.
Well, and that's the thing is like, I remember staying in one of your guys' Airbnbs and you're taking that hospitality and that experiential thing to a level that like I don't think other Airbnb hosts even know it exists. Like especially I feel bad if someone stays in one of y'all's Airbnbs for the first time. They think that that's how Airbnbs operate, and then they go somewhere else. Like if it was my Airbnb in Denver, it's gonna be a different experience because I'm just gonna property management, like leave me alone, leave me out of it, and they're gonna go, wait a minute, these are on two different planets. So obviously the hospitality, the experiential thing is very important to you guys. What does like a day look like for you guys? Because obviously like you have to have standards. You're responsible for all your money. You're entrepreneurs. So how do you guys make things happen?
Well, we always say teamwork, dream work. Yeah, so definitely when you get into real estate, some people are like, I'm going to get my license. It's going to be easy. I'll just do that on the side.
Yeah, I'll do it part-time.
Yeah, it's definitely not. It's more full-time than anything else, and just always ready for calls. Always kind of like be a therapist. She's great at that. to the clients, making them feel good about these big decisions, you know, big money decisions on both ends, buying or selling. So it's really just getting our kids right, you know, getting them, whether it's babysitting the newborn or getting our son to school, and then just time blocking and separating our tasks. Because when I first started, we're both agents, we got to do the same thing. I'm just hovering over, like, what are we doing? She's like, I'm doing this, like, go do something. So it was like, I need you to do anything else. I need you to do anything else, Ben.
Well,
I'm just watching it. Like, no, you don't need to learn this. That's why we're a team. You know? So now we found our roles. You know, she says, what do you say? I just know I'm the vibe, but what are you? The business. The business, and I'm the vibe. But so coming from, you know, I don't know if the listeners know this, but we came up in music a long time. Thanks for having us on here.
Absolutely.
So excited. So from being on stage, you know, my role, I love uplifting souls, making everyone feel good in the crowd, giving a perfect experience the moment they walked in, the entire show, the moment they left, just making them feel good. So I'm taking that, whether it's showing clients or on the other end on the listings, making sure the stage is set, the house, the music, the sliders are open, the fireplace lit. You know, I got the vibe set, so they walk in and are like, oh, I feel like they're walking into a hotel lobby. A lot of times I do play hotel lobby music.
There you go.
Yeah, a little. Just making everyone feel good in the situation, and then she's really good on the negotiation and the business and making sure they're making the right decision. It could be a good investment. So really team working.
Yeah, and it's good to have both because I get so wrapped up in the business end of it. Like when we're doing a showing, I'm already like negotiating in my head. I'm already like mapping all that out. So sometimes I forget to even look up, like for my phone.
So I'll shout out like, nice shoes. Like, oh, you noticed? Yeah, you're like, oh yeah, it was nice.
I remember one of the first times I was talking to Natalia, and I realized just how much of a businesswoman she is. Like, and I'm not lying. If you're trying to figure out the business of real estate, or just like the business, because it is a little different for women out there in entrepreneur land. I'm telling you, got to hit her up, because I remember I was talking to her, and they were nice enough to let me stay over at their house on one of the events I was speaking at. And so we got to talking numbers, and she was like, "This is number, this number, this number, and then this number, then this." I was saying, "Shit." I said, like, and I think that's why I work so well, because that's the way Kayla is. Like, I'm like, they're just numbers and stuff. Like whatever. Like, I swipe my card, it keeps going through. Like, and she goes, not all our cards have like unlimited. Like, you got to pay.
You're like,
for
approved.
It went through. Yeah, but we still got to pay for that. And I think that's one of the things is like having that real teamwork behind it. And I love just because like I'm doing this doesn't mean you need to learn it. Like, I got this. Like, go do you. I think that's important. How do you guys like manage / balance? Because like I'm just gonna give you guys like an insight into me. When Kayla and I were going through, because a lot of people like who are listening know that we when we made the decision, hey, we really want to have a kiddo. We got pregnant pretty quick, but then we went through like the worst miscarriage. And then for 3 years, we prayed for Conrad. And through those like 3 years of praying for Conrad, 9 months of, what happens after you get pregnant, and then, the 6 months decision. So like I've got like 5 years of like watching all of my friends have kids. And I'll tell you, you two are some of the people that I look up to the most as parents. And like watching you just like do trick shots with Gav, and like you guys doing the things, and like watching her be a mom, watching you guys surprise each other with like the Valentine's Day and the birthdays. Like, you guys are you're not just a team, like you're each other's fans.
Oh, for sure.
Like,
definitely.
you guys, like, I just love your love.
I'm his groupie.
For sure. I'm the second one. But I love your love, and just how you guys show up for your boy, and now girl as well. We got a new one. Is just really inspiring. And I think a lot of people, they get wrapped up in the business, and then they forget that they're also a parent. And you guys never forgot that.
Yeah.
What's like, help some of the people figure that part out, because I feel like we could save a lot of marriages and therapy for kids if people could get the secret sauce of the Harrises.
All right. Well, I appreciate all those kind words too, and we
sure.
love watching your family and everything. Congrats on the two beautiful
Thank you.
boys. So letting it be known that there is a separation, even if sometimes we're not doing it, I think is crucial. I'm just going off the top. This wasn't planned, but so letting Gav know, our 8-year-old, that and it's all Gav time, and we're going on Gav time, and then when we're eating, as soon as we get there, like, no, these are important calls, remember, because this is our business, this is how we're going to go on the trip in the car, maybe driving there. As soon as we get to the restaurant,
him understand.
Then actually he calls us out.
Making him a part of that process.
Yeah, instead of like,
good.
You don't know what we're talking about, is business, and then it's confusing. Like, this is business. You can listen to the talk, listen how I'm talking, but as soon as we get to the restaurant table, and he'll be like, and then no phones at the table. And then sometimes at the table, he'll be like, but this one isn't even that big. And he'll be like, you said no phones. Like, he's right here. So then he's calling us out, but that's all kind of part of the plan. If he didn't understand, he'd just be like, no, I have to. He'd be like, but you said, we're like, oh yeah, you're right. We are at the table. And then every time it can wait. And then but right after, I may run out and just do it. Or I'll be like, it's a 5-minute call and we're excited. We want her to be excited. We'll be watching her from the car. Sometimes she'll step out. We'll be cheering like she's excited. It looks like she'll give us a little fist bump. It's going through. Oh, we're going to put in that offer. Okay, she's coming back. Oh, we're cheering. Make it fun, not just like boring work stuff.
So include the kid.
Oh, 100%. I mean, he knows more about real estate than some realtors. Like,
probably a lot of them.
Like, obviously we don't take him out, like, with clients, but if there's opportunities, like, when I was pregnant, they would come together and like set it up for me,
Yeah.
and then they'd go sit in the car, while I showed the home.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, he gets to be part of it, so he understands it.
Yes.
And we definitely don't like brush it off when he asks questions. Like, I'll be talking to a lender and he'll be like, well, what's owner finance, or like, what's this kind of, loan? And I mean, I think it's awesome that he wants to know.
Yeah.
So we definitely include him. And then also like making him understand the balance. Like, I got to chaperone his field trip at school, and he knows that's usually when somebody would go to work, if I had a 9 to 5. But then that helps him understand on the nights when we're working late and maybe we don't have family time. He understands, okay, but that's going to give us an opportunity to have like time off on a time where you would be busy usually.
Yeah.
So he understands that our schedule is like evolving, and as long as like we still make time for him, he's
because you used to always complain, I don't want to go by this showing, but then it gets exciting, be like, oh, remember this house, this is the one with the full strip view, and if we sell this one, then we can
we're going to Disneyland.
Make sure we go to Disneyland, and then we do.
And you guys just got back you went to Disneyland on May 4th. Like, that's about the best time to go. So.
Disneyland, and then we have like trips planned out. And then be like, okay, this one for sure we're gonna do this one, or maybe this one might have to wait, or now we want to go to Universal. So then he's more like supportive and cheering. It's never a bad thing.
I love that. That's so good. So, do you guys still have Glam Parlor?
We do, yeah.
How's that going?
It's good. I mean, it's it's hard to find a balance with that because I obviously can't spread myself too thin.
Yeah.
So we have a manager there, and it kind of somewhat runs itself. For me, Glam Parlor is not really about making money. We employ 10 women there that that they call that home, and create jobs, and I love that. So it's kind of more of like a passion project and a hobby versus like a big money maker.
When it first opened, she was there from like, you didn't even take a break.
Yeah.
So it's kind of hard, when you have a vision of when you're in there and then you take away, no one's going to understand how you're
I
busy.
mean, I worked at open to close, and then when I first hired a receptionist, I didn't trust them to answer the phones. So I would like take the work phone with me and make sure I answered every call.
I know
and then
that
finally, I've been like, okay, this isn't my calling.
Yeah.
It's a fun place and I love it, but I love what we do together, and I wouldn't trade
but the
that.
staff is amazing though.
Yeah, for sure.
Best lashes in the game, Glam Parlor, holla.
Yeah.
I like saying that when I drive by it.
Oh my God, I love it. So what's next for you guys? Like I feel like even just from the like we're both, I feel like both of our lives are going kind of light speed. And when I had you guys speak at my event in 2021, it was like the first time you guys went on stage. Which, by the way, y'all crushed it.
With your help. Right before, like, what were we talking about?
I got
You're like, I got 10 subjects.
I know, right?
You don't do this one. You don't do this.
And now, so like, what's next? Where are we going? Like, what do your dreams look like? Because there's a lot of people out there from the outside looking in. They'll be like, I always tell people this because they'll look at me and they'll say, "Oh, that must be nice," and I'll just tell them it is. Like it is, but it's nice because I did the must. I do the must every day, and most people can't. They can't drive as hard as I can. They don't have the same motor I do. It just is what it is. But the reason that I have the nice is because I do the must. So a lot of people are going to look at you guys and go, "Oh, must be nice. You guys got that beautiful family. You just moved into this house. You're building a freaking sports court. You're breaking all these records at Sotheby's." What does dreaming look like for you guys?
Yeah, go ahead.
I mean, kind of continue on the trajectory of what we're doing now. Like, we've had the opportunity to work with like builders now and clients that are kind of, now building based on our recommendation, to where it's not even just like selling a house, but it's like working together with people to create these like really unique properties to where, we're creating our own listings. And I think that's been,
cool.
A lot of fun is like not only are we helping people make money, but then also we get to be part of the process from the start and, put some like love and passion into it.
I love that.
So I think that's something like, we've really enjoyed is like helping people find opportunities, but then also like helping create the product. Because we see all these cool homes, so it's hard not to get like all these ideas.
Yeah.
So I think like seeing some of those through to reality is definitely fun.
Yeah, when we first got our license, because it's only been 5 years since we've been a team, and we came up to #1 this quarter, which is super exciting, but we put in all that work. There's no shortcuts.
Yeah.
It just kind of went fast.
That's the thing that like you hear what they say, we put in all the work. Here's the thing, they are very talented, They're very good with it, incredibly smart, but like they also have those attributes, and then they will outwork everyone in the like. You cannot think that there's some sort of silver bullet.
Oh, no.
You got to do the freaking work.
Yeah, people will say that, like, oh, you only have to sell one of those a year. And it's like, well, if you just sold one of those a year, you wouldn't have the opportunity to sell that. Like, you know, some days we're super busy and then other days we're not. We're like doing research because you have to, just like any industry, you have to know your product. And that's probably like why we've been successful selling, you know, homes at that level is because we know them like inside and out. Yeah. Like, you know, when I'm negotiating, you can't tell me something I don't know. You know what I mean? Like if someone tries to negotiate and like spit out facts, I'm like, okay, well, this is why you're wrong. You know, this is why you should pay what, you know, you're going to pay for it. Yeah. So I think that's like the biggest thing is like, there's definitely no silver bullet. Like, you know, you can't just sell one of these homes a day and think it's going to come to you. Like,
we've seen every list, you know, every angle of the strip, just everything, because we have a passion for that stuff. So we want to know it. So when someone's talking to us, like, no, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, I know. You're talking about that roof is right here. No, I know what you're saying, but you can't see that right here. And like, well, no, like, oh, you know, like, yeah, of course we know. We do this. We live it. Yeah. But what I was saying, when we first started, some stuff wasn't actually fun, you know, putting in that work and like showing all this stuff and lower price points, and then sometimes we'd be upset. You know, I'm coming straight from the stage, like fresh off, like that was always fun on stage, you know, stuff. But I'm like, oh, this isn't that fun, and then we'll start doing stuff, and then slowly it become like really fun. So we're always like, well, this is fun. So our goal is to be where it's all this is fun. And that right now we're doing that. So I have a passion for views and going up before the lots are even done and just seeing that. Yeah, even being from Arizona, Camelback Mountain, when we our first days were hiking, looking at the city lights and skyline. So that's just in us. So I have a passion for that, and now it's fun. So now instead of just hoping someone lists that has a view, they're coming to us because we're like the strip view specialists. We kind of coined ourselves that. Now people are like, I have a strip view, come check out mine. What could I sell this for? Could I rent this? What can I do? So now it's all fun because it's coming from our passion. And now especially they're asking, how would you design this $10 million home at the very top of the mountain? You know, they just released these skylots at the very top, and we knew about them because we were up there walking them before they were released. We knew every lot, every strip view angle, even before the builders out here. So this is fun. We're up here talking with the builders, what we do. Oh, I would do this, even make the garage over here.
When's the first time that you were walking those lots?
Months ago, as soon as I knew you could drive up there. Yeah, I got a crazy story of one of our clients who is building custom up here with Blue Heron. They were flying in just to check out the lots during the day, but they had to leave like before the sunset. So they landed at like 10 p.m. And I was like, but you have to see the strip view at night. You got to see it shine, like it's a whole different story. And they're like, how are we going to do that? And I was like, well, there's no lights or nothing up there. I was like, I know the way up there, so I'm driving them up there. We're at the very top over here in McDonald Highlands on the peak side.
Just like random trenches,
random trenches,
beams.
Everything is pitch dark. I got flashlights. We're holding hands. True story, we're all with the flashlights.
Like legitimately 4 adults, holding hands.
They had like, a big trench. You know, it wasn't the safest, but we walked over this board. And then we finally got to this lot, you know, like a 10-minute walk in the pitch dark with flashlights. And then they're up there, and then they just fell in love. So then the next day when they went up there with the builders and talking about that, and then when they're like, and you should see this at night, they're like, well, they actually took us up here last night. And that's made us fall in love already. So I'm like, see, I just wanted to do that. I do that on my own. I'm up there shooting music videos. I'm just up there. So I'm like, oh, I know the way up there. You want to go up there? I do that anyway. So they're like, let's do it. And that ended up them wanting to build, and now they're building, all because I wanted to take them up there just because I wanted to.
So I think this is a good thing for anybody listening or watching this this is the art and the idea of planting seeds. You know, we're up here and we're putting the work in, and we're planting seeds on the top of a mountain before lots are even open, before anything can be done. And you're up there visualizing, and you see it literally before it's even possible. And people don't understand that that's why you guys are who you are, is because the best way to create the best way to predict the future is to create it. And you guys are over here saying, oh, you want to build a $10 million home? Let me show you where. I'll give you $10 million view. Oh, well, this, you know, during the day it looks like $5 million view. That's because you haven't seen it at night. Come walk over this board. But this is the thing, is if you want something that other people, you know, can't or won't have, you have to be willing to do things that other people can't or won't do.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why you have the marriage you do. You're the parents that you are, the certainly the business people that you are. So I think to wrap it up, I'll ask 3 questions. For you, what would you tell other men to do or be, something that you've learned that helps you be in a marriedpreneurship life with your wife? Like, what can you tell other men to make it a little easier on them if they're working with their wife?
Oh, definitely put the ego aside. This happens all the time, right? So guys will be talking to me, we'll be together, knowing they talk to you on the phone, then we'll finally meet up, and they'll be talking all these numbers and all this business, but looking right at me, and I keep having to take their eye line, and like, let's shift it over to the one, you know, I know you think I'm going to be embarrassed or something, but all I'm going to do is say, so what would you say to that? So let's get it straight. She's the one talking business and numbers.
Yeah,
Remember? Yeah, so I'm the vibe over here. We're all working together as a team. But I'm not going to feel bad, and I'm going to tell you to start talking to her directly, okay?
I love that. I love that. So same type of question to you. What would you tell other women who are in this marriedpreneur vibe? Because I think a lot more people with the advent of entrepreneurship, people and spouses are wanting to work together. But I don't think people actually understand how hard it can be sometimes. So what would you tell other women on, you know, how to work with your spouse? Something that you could equip them with to say, hey, here's a calibration that we went through that you got to be aware of, and I think it'll make working with your spouse easier.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's, don't worry about what society's roles are that, you know, society thinks is right and is created. Don't worry about what other people think or expect you to do. Just figure out like what each of you is good at. Figure out how to communicate. You know, don't try to make somebody into something they're not. Like, figure out what makes each of you happy, what makes each of you thrive. And
so
like,
he's not doing a lot of stuff in the QuickBooks.
All those lines, numbers.
Sometimes I'm surprised though. Like, we'll be having a conversation and he'll spit out some facts and I'm like, oh, you've been listening. Like,
she goes, oh, that's sexy.
Yeah. No, I'll be like, the way he said that. But I think, you know, just making sure to appreciate each other's talents and like call it out, and like don't think that what one person is doing is more important or better than the others. Like we're where we are because we work well together. Like I think the things that I thrive at, I'm good at, are powered by what he's good at, and it makes me better at what I do, and like vice versa. So I think it's just kind of, you know, appreciating each other's differences and you know, building off of them together.
So last question, just because I actually spoke for a real estate company for 2 years. I was on a 2-year contract, and so I have a lot of people in real estate that, you know, follow the podcast and are a part of that. I'm not a real estate specialist. What would you say to people who are either getting into real estate, wanting to get into real estate, or they're in real estate but they don't have the traction? What would you say are, you know, your top 3 things from each of you, or together, however you want to do it? What are the top 3 things that they could start doing right now to make their real estate business better?
Definitely find your niche. And like, you know, there's so many different avenues of real estate, whether you're working with, you know, first-time home buyers or investors, or, you know, there's so many different avenues. I think it's like, find something that you can really get passionate about and be an expert in it. That doesn't mean you can't like touch anything else, but be an expert in something. That way, like, people start actually coming to you for it.
Love that.
So for sure, find a niche.
Like,
definitely money like speed.
I'll say, you can say that one. Then I'll say, know that it's more that you're going to have to put that work in, obviously. It's not going to be a side hustle. It's going to be your full-time thing. But knowing that you are also going to have to be a therapist, even though it might be her role. Sometimes I just get so messed up. I'm like, man, we don't even want to do it, you know, whatever. And then she's like, no, look, calm down, you know, take a couple breaths, and then like hear them out. You know, take yourself out of it. That's what I'm trying to say. Like, understand where they're coming from, like a therapist would probably do. And then, like, remember, it's not us. We're just here to help the transaction and the situation, take yourself out, hear them out, and then always you get down to, like, oh, that's why you're thinking that. It's not just about this, because, now you realize this didn't make sense when you said it to me.
That's good. I think actually that applies to so many things in today's society. Take yourself out of it. Like, you know, like,
and that's easier said than done.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I think everyone can say that, especially like whether it's like politics or anything. Like, just take yourself out of it. allow the transaction to actually occur without you adding all this needless emotional energy. That's powerful.
Yeah,
That's
don't
good.
get in the way.
Yeah. And for sure, especially when working with like high net worth clients, like money like speed. Like, you know, once somebody makes a decision, they want the information like yesterday.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where, especially with a family, is having that balance of like, okay, it might be 11 o'clock at night right now, but I need to focus on this because this person asked me a question a minute ago and I need to have an answer for them, you know, before they wake up in the morning. And I think that's kind of like, if you don't get them the information they want, somebody else will, or they'll figure out a way to get it.
For sure.
It's like once they decide to do something, they're doing it right then. And
Money
tomorrow
like speed.
Yeah, tomorrow they're going to have something else they need to focus on. So it's just like, you know, getting the people the information when they need it.
Well, I can't tell you how many times I've literally done that exact thing. If I like ask for something, and then people like, they're like, 20 minutes too long. I'm literally on the phone with somebody else.
Yeah,
like, can you get me this information? I need this information.
You're like, you're
right
not needed. They're needed right now. Never mind.
Yeah, I think that's power. I think a lot of people, they rest on their laurels, if you will, or they think they're more needed in the transaction than they really are. Mm-hmm. And if you can have the opportunity to facilitate it, then facilitate. And if especially these high net worth people, if you're going to spend $16 million on a house, chances are you are not poor. Chances are you're making a decision pretty quickly, and chances are you got other things that you need to focus on after that decision's made. So I think money like speed, that's really, really powerful. So it was money like speed. Take yourself out of it. What was the very first one?
Find your niche.
Yeah, find your niche. So like that's so powerful. You can't be the jack of all trades. Like, a lot of people say, like, I'm just going to be in real estate. So like I love the strip view specialists. And these higher end homes, and now you're working with builders, and you know they're adjusting things to your guys' recommendations because you know, obviously, and the proof's in the pudding. You're getting these things across the finish line. So find your niche. I love that. Take yourself out of it, and money like speed. I think if anybody out there, you're trying to get into this situation, like, follow those 3 rules. Like we're just going to call it the Harris Power 3. If you can do that, I'm telling you're going to take your business to the next level. So from the final percent to you guys, thank you guys so much for coming and hanging out with me.
Yeah, definitely.
And I appreciate, and I love you guys beyond that.
I love you too.
So awesome. Cheers.
All right, thanks y'all.